Hello everyone, my name's Dawn. I live in rural Cyprus. If it's your first time here, a big welcome to you. And if it's more than your first time, thank you for coming back. Really appreciate it, especially if you've subscribed. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up if you like what you see. A bit of chit chats, update, and so on and so forth. First, I need to clean these. Literally the last couple of minutes, I've been running around like a loony. Because do you notice anything different here? Look, these are not my glasses. So I need to clean them. Just as I was about to start my live, I just my glasses slipped down my nose a bit. I was like, oh, I just pushed them up the centre and they've snapped in half. So what do you not need when you're living a frugal life? To go to the optician and buy complete new glasses. So I guess I was probably due for a retest anyway. I've got, and I can't remember what it's called. Some of you guys will probably know it's something where it will gradually get worse and worse and worse with the eyes. In old age, you can lose your sight completely. Forget what it's called. There's nothing you can do to stop it. I have to ask her when I go this time what it was called. And it can be very slow or it can suddenly be progressive. Don't know really a lot about it. I'm the sort of person, if you can't do something about something, then just get on with your life day to day. As I say, there's nothing you can do. So I probably need another test anyway, because I am sort of having trouble. You've probably seen on my lives that I'm sort of looking at the chat really close. But as I say, when you're hosting a chat on the webcam on YouTube, the chat for me is a dark black background with white type, which is the absolute worst you can get for reading anything. So luckily I found these. These are my glasses from before. Thank goodness. I can't afford a spare pair. Everyone say, oh, I have a spare pair. I can't afford to have two pairs sitting there when I've got to every now and then change to another prescription or whatever. But the good news is that's in a really nice case, that one. So when I get new ones, I have to switch. I've got no choice. I've got to get glasses now. I can see it, luckily. So thank goodness for these. These are, I don't know what you call them, those really light frames. And they're really nice. They feel like I'm got nothing in my hands, because the ones I've just had were heavier frames. But apparently these light frames, you can't get new lenses, so I had to have different lenses. And one of my friends gave me the frames, rather, not lenses. My friend gave me the frames. She didn't want any more because they were out of date, as in not the modern frames. So she gave them to me, and I said, that's great, because I don't mind keep changing the lenses that are so much cheaper, but now it's the frames that are broken. So that's put a kibosh on that. It's one of those things, when something big can happen to you and you're all down, whatever. But for me, sometimes it's lots of little things that all happen at once. Independently, they're all not always so much of an issue. But it just seems like I've had a few days of all these silly little things that really shouldn't bother me. You know how positive I am and how I go with things, but they're just building up and building up. And then I sat down, I thought, right, I'll just go and chill out, do the live. It gives me that time away from all what's going on. I just catch you up with what's happening, keep it together for a live. And I was like, right, I'm going to sit down. And as I said, I just pushed my glasses up. They kept slipping down, so I don't know what happened to them. And I just pushed them there, and it went. I said to Mike, do you think it's the hot weather here? Perhaps gradually they do go, but he called it something. He knows a lot about glasses and frames and that. Having, I think, always. Have you always had glasses? What age did you have glasses from? Junior school. So what's that, about 8 years old? Something like that? What's junior? Yeah, probably 8, because 7 or 8, something like that. My hair's soaky wet, so excuse that, because it was either a case of drying it or going on Glitter World, which is Shirley's channel, and I try and support her when I can. So instead of drying my hair, I was watching Glitter World. What else has been going on? I've got Thunderhead. Thunderhead is basically anyone who gets migraines. Imagine several migraines at once. That's what I call Thunderhead. Yes, it can really mess you up and that, but mine works a different way. It makes my brain go funny rather than have to take to my bed. That doesn't help. In fact, for me, laying down is the worst thing I can do. Closing my eyes is the worst thing I do. So yeah, it's basically the brain is going crazy. And also quit Thunderhead because it's when you get I can predict the weather for you, as in thunderstorms, and it can be as much as 24 hours before. And I said to Mike, I've got this Thunderhead, we call it. I've got Thunderhead. And he says, oh, the weather says it's going to be really nice and da-da-da. And in, I think about 12 hours, it was this major thunderstorm. It just literally came, thundered and big lightning, and off it went again. It didn't stay. It was passing through, but it was just suddenly like, you know how you just suddenly get that really big bang of thunder and a big flash of lightning. It's like, oh, crikey. And then it went on. So it's like, oh, that's why you got the Thunderhead. We always say afterwards, like we're surprised. Oh, that's why you have Thunderhead. It's like we say it every time, but as we say, it was supposed to be really nice weather. Also, what's happened is my uncle's died, and it's hard anyway when a relative dies. Obviously, friends and everything as well, but when it's a relative, it's obviously a bit harder, but especially coming up to Christmas time, I really feel for my cousins particularly. And for me, my uncle was my dad's twin, and my dad died a while ago, and I don't know why, but I kind of I felt a little bit my dad was still there because my uncle was still alive. It sounds very odd, but I kind of felt there was maybe a little bit my dad's still about. So it's very strange how I feel about that. So I have to ask my sister. I'm Skyping her tomorrow. So I'll just say, do you feel like that? Or is that just something for me that my uncle's died, and obviously our uncle's died, and did you feel that was a little bit of dad? The last bit of dad had gone, sort of thing. So that's a little bit of a issue for me, and I would say in some respects that's more my little thing at the moment. That's why I'm kind of feel a bit odd and everything. You know, I try to be so positive. I'm trying to motivate, but the last couple of days I wouldn't say I haven't done anything, haven't wanted to. I haven't wanted to, but I've made myself do things, but not what I'd normally do. I don't want to go outside and do anything outside. So I've just been sort of floating around the house, doing odd bits and pieces. Nothing particular, just randomly sorting things out. Trying to find some things that I can make the house look Christmassy, because I've got a very frugal Christmas this year because of all the vet bills that we've paid and may have to be ongoing paying, which I talked about before. So I didn't have a birthday. We're not having Christmas. We're just going to have Christmas dinner, and that'll probably be it for us. So I'm sort of floating around trying to make the house Christmassy. I do want to go on my friend's channel. I don't know if you know it. It's Frugal Queen in France. I think that's right. You know me, I always get names mixed up. Frugal Queen in France, I'm sure. It's Jane is the channel. This is why I write things down. Frugal Queen in France. And she did a video. When I wanted to watch it, it said upcoming, and that annoys me. Because if I see a video, I want to watch it, then I forget about it. Don't say, oh, you could save it and all that. No, I only use my laptop, and when I turn it off, I turn it off. I don't want it's not like I go around with the phone and a notification pops up, so that's no good for me. I will go back and see it, but I wanted to watch it at that point. I had time, and she'd done a video on, it was something about how to have a frugal Christmas. Now, hopefully that doesn't mean spend less on something. I hope there's something about spend zero. There's no good telling me spend less or spend less. Hey, Nonna Grace, how lovely to see you here. Thank you so much. I'm so down at the moment, so any friendly face popping on while I'm live. How are you doing, my friend? What we do on my live chats is you can type a little bit about your channel now. You can say what sort of videos you've got coming up or anything you like about your channel. I'm very much a channel where I like you to share your channels, not say it's my channel, I don't want everyone typing or adding links. So do type something now, Nonna Grace. Say what you do on your channel. Nonna Grace, I used to like. She always had a different jumper on and showed you all about her jumpers, and it was always a jumper display. She does crocheting, am I right saying crocheting? But lots of different things. So Nonna Grace, do write something about your channel now, or if you've got a particular video coming up or that kind of thing. So do type something in, and then people watching this back later may well come over to your channel, something that may draw them in. What was I saying? What was I saying about then? Oh yeah, so not really been doing much. As I say, Jane's channel, Frugal Queen in France. Do go and have a look at what she's saying for a frugal Christmas. As I say, I hope it's not spend less, but spend zero, because that's me. And I have got a video. I haven't finished making it. I've got some components of it. It's an update of cutting down my olive trees, which I'll talk about in a minute, where I've got to in that. And there's going to be, I say, a funny bit on the end. It's sort of funny, but not funny. It's going to show you my frugal Christmas on the end of it. So it will be my last video before Christmas. I'll post that. I'm going to finish posting on, because I post Monday, Wednesday, Friday on this channel. I will post that one on the 21st of December, and that will be my last one for a week. And then I'll post back on the 28th of December. So when you see my update on cutting my olive trees, that will end with my sort of Christmas bit for you. Wow, look, all my friends are in. I so need you guys. I'm so sad with my uncle dying. So it's lovely to have you. We've got Texas Jan. How are you doing? Good morning. Haven't been connected in a while. Nice to see you. But that's what old friends are, Jan, isn't it? Your best buddies are the ones you can go, oh, even months and not see, and then you just connect right back where you were. And I was thinking of you today because I'm doing seeds. So Jan sent me some seeds, I think 2 years ago, Jan, was it? And every time I plant seeds, I always think of all the people that sent me seeds. I'm so grateful for that. Twinbrook Acres, hi, it's been a while, Dawn. It's great you've all popped in. You're all people I haven't really seen for a little while, but as I say, we're all still connected. And guys, if you've just come in, as I've said to Nonna Grace, put a little bit about your channel. You're my community. I'm here for you guys and your channel. So do type a little bit about your channel or a video you're doing, or if you're doing something special for Christmas one or something, or if you're indeed your channel that isn't doing Christmas, because I know a lot of people, I'm trying to avoid some of the Christmas videos because it makes me a little bit sad. But I do like looking at Christmas lights. So if any of you guys have got videos coming up with Christmas lights, I do like to look at those, or Christmas markets. They're the two type, but if you're just having a good old Christmas, I'm not coming. Wow, humbug. Oh, thanks, Nonna Grace. That's great. So yes, guys, do do put something about your channels. As I say, people watching this back later, apart from my last live, I do get quite high views on watch back of my lives, because I know I'm a funny time for some people. And one live I did recently, there was something like 585 views on it. So that, you have no Christmas videos planned. No, I'm saying about I'm part filmed it, but I've got a bit more to add. My last video for before Christmas will be the 21st of December, and you'll see me finishing where I'm up to cutting the olive trees, and there will be a Christmassy frugal thing at the end, and that's where I'm finishing it for Christmas. When we lose our older generation, such as your uncle, it makes us think of mortality. I was saying at the beginning, Jan, before you popped on, he's my dad's twin, and my dad's died fairly recently. And I think it's hit me more the fact that I always kind of felt there was a bit of my dad still about. So it's almost a little bit like losing my dad again. That's kind of how that's hit me, which sounds a bit selfish that I'm feeling that. And my poor cousins, it's pre-Christmas and they've lost their dad. So, you know, it's a bit of a strange feeling, because I didn't kind of realise I felt like that until now. So very bizarre. Anyway, trying to keep positive. The olive tree update, I finished all the lower olive grove. I finished all the upper olive grove. I finished all of the next area bar. There's a tree by the swimming pool. That one, I think I'll just trim it. And there's another one by where you see my rabbit cage where I grow. And that one's hard to cut because it's not a tier as in a tier, a slope, let's say a slope. So I can't cut this side of the tree because the slope's like this. And obviously little Dawn with the ladder, only go on a 3-step ladder. I won't go on a proper ladder because my balance issues. And I obviously can't cut much of that. So maybe Mike could do it, or I'll leave it. I don't know. And I think because I don't feel like doing anything now, I'm going to just leave it there, because last year when I did the really heavy prune, I started right up the other end of the land. So I've kind of met where I got up to, giving them that real hard prune. So I feel I'm done. Texas Jan says, Petara from Appalachian Homestead posted a photo of her Charlie Brown Christmas tree, just a branch with 1 or 2 pieces of ribbon, odd ball. Do you know what? I think that's what Christmas is all about. And I don't want to say too much because, as I say, watch the end of the one I will be posting on, did I say the 8th, on the 21st, the finishing of cutting the olive trees. And yeah, something at the end that to me means more about Christmas. So, and I'm not going to say, oh, poor me, can't have Christmas this year, can't afford it because I've got these vet bills, because I would rather have little Kit alive, which we didn't think was going to happen, than to have my birthday and my Christmas. So it's not about consumerism. It's about, I've got Mike, I've got my cat, so I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for where I live. So, yeah. Nonna Gray said, I found it difficult when both my parents were gone. I became an orphan. Oh, bless you. Petara's videos, I don't know that channel. Let me write that down because I don't know that channel at all. And if you weren't on at the beginning, these aren't my glasses. These were my previous glasses just before I started the live. I just pushed mine up here because they were slipping down and they snapped. I think here you can't fix them. So I'm having a little trouble. I can see, but it's not as clear. So, yeah, do bear with me. What was I writing? Petara Tara from... Oh, right. The channel's just called Appalachian, is it? Is that just a title, that? Homestead. That's just the channel, yes. Is that right? It's just that. I've lost my mouse. Lost my mouse. There we go. So, yeah, definitely. So there's that. I find my new glasses need adjusting. You're correct. Oh, dear. I'm just looking here. That looks a bit bent there. Oh, it is. Look. I mean, they curve round, but look, this one's well bent round. Oh, gosh, look at that. Oh, this is... Oh, wait. I think it had a new arm on it. Because, look, it's probably might fix these at some point. Can you see the brown comes down to my finger? And then this one doesn't have that. This one's just got that. These are probably like a different arm. Frugal ass. Bodge these at some point. Well, at least they're a spare. These are a spare. Yes, you can see that. Yeah, I was just looking there. I was like, oh, you guys that haven't been here for a while, do you like my background? It's not about Christmas. I just wanted a different background because where this is only like not hardboard, it's just wood board, this wall behind me, and where two bits joined, it's not plasterboard, it's thinner than that. There was like a join, it always ran down near my head. Anyway, what else can I update you on? My indoor garden, it's going crazy. It's doing very well. I've transplanted again. I've made a second video, so you'll get the update on that. Very nice, bright, sparkly. Yes, it's not for Christmas. It's for always. I noticed a new background. Very nice. Good. I'm glad you like it. There's a couple of lives where I started going a bit rogue on my lives. I'd get up and sort things out because I wanted to do this. I've had to make this. It's not like a curtain you buy. I've had to make it with each bit and tape it up and pin it up. It took me, I think, over a week to make it. And one live, you've got a little bit. And then because I can't tell, when I'm on my live now, I can see what you can see. But when I'm not live, I couldn't figure out how far I needed to take this across the wall. So one live, I said, oh, good, well, I'm on live now. Excuse me a minute. And I went up and made a pencil line to see how far I had to make the curtain. I go a bit rogue. And prior to that, there were several videos where I was like, oh, I want to show you blah, blah, blah. And I'd get up and go and get it. And I said, there will be a live at some point where I just sit down and talk. Yeah, so the indoor garden, everything's going crazy. I planted a bit of everything I had of seed, except for fruit trees and anything I really would plant straight in the ground, like sweet corn, things like that. I didn't want to plant those sort of things, but I planted a bit of everything else I had seeds for, just to see what would come up first. And bear in mind, it's supposedly our winter now, but it's still quite warm at the moment, apart from early in the morning. And like now it's 7:65, nearly 6 o'clock at night now. So it's dark outside. And now I've got a thin fleece on. So if you're just sitting, but if you're out working, it's okay. But obviously it's dark now. So it is technically our winter, but very warm during the day. We've got a volunteer here at the moment and he works without a t-shirt on. So that tells you how warm it is during the day. He's a tourist, obviously. I wouldn't say it's quite that warm. If I'm working, digging or something like that, I'd wear a vest top. If I'm just pottering about outside, maybe a t-shirt. So that gives you an idea. So yeah, I planted seeds indoors, and of everything I planted, I would say the squash by far was the quickest to come up. Now, I would normally have said tomatoes or peppers because I normally start those early. But I thought, let's try a bit of everything this year. So I was surprised. I've got beans, 2 beans growing, which are from beans I bought because I had no bean seeds. They're like runner beans or French beans, those sort of beans. And 2 of those have come up. They're quite tall now, they're about this tall. What else has done really well? Oh, the Rosa lettuce. And I say in my videos, I've planted like green lettuce. That's coming up, but nothing like sort of crest size. But the Rosa lettuce has gone crazy. So try Rosa lettuce, which is the one that goes a bit reddy. Try that if you want quick growing lettuce. Funny enough, I was saying in the video, the zucchini and those kind of things haven't really come up properly yet, but the squash is going crazy. Now, in my head, they're the similar sort of things, so that's a bit strange. They're all growing in the same place and the same way. But yeah, I've planted some stuff now in, like the water bottles you get in offices that they put upside down on the machine. I've got some in those now outside, so they're incubated still. They grow right out there. But yeah, as I say, I filmed the second one. Let me just look at my postings, because I make videos and now I forget what I've made and what I'm posting. It will be the one after next, the update, because the next one's about some of our salvage stuff that we've been given or found, and that includes something I talk about briefly in my next update of my indoor gardens. I thought, oh, I need to put that out first, or you'll see that back to front. Your season's way different than ours. That's the fun thing, isn't it? It's like I've got a lot of YouTube friends in Australia, and they're like, oh, summer's coming, and oh, it's really hot now, and it's all a bit strange, isn't it? And I still can't get over time differences. It's like I know we're all different times, but I'm thinking sometimes I'm like, oh, I'm about to make my tea, like, or my night dinner. I'm about to do that, and other people are just getting up for breakfast. I'm like, I've had that day. That day's been and gone. And I'll just tell you, today was a brilliant day, everybody. I can tell you if something happened in the world. You're still in the morning. Yeah, what time actually are you? That's the other thing. I know you've got your EST and your mountain time and all those, but I can never work out who's on which one. I know where the lines are, but yeah, until I get a map out, I know where some areas are, but I can't be bothered to sit and work out, hold on, that person's there, so they're on that time. Oh dear. Yeah, what time of the morning are you? I think your breakfast time. Yeah, today I posted a video of 10:56. Oh, your Eastern time. There we go. 10:56. That's not so bad then. You can have your coffee now. Yes, today I posted a video of Dionysus, which is the Greek god of wine and vine. And I did a little brief story about how he became the god of wine and vine. A few cups. I'm on water today because my thunderhead. Yes, so I did a bit about him and also about the traditional clothes that are worn here. Still for weddings and things and differences on that. And when you go into the wine festival here, you see a big statue of a man and explain what that's all about. So I posted that one today. The video prior to that was the first one of my indoor growing. So if you're interested in that, I know most people were on my channel for my growing and gardening. I don't know how I came to do that because I had no intention of ever growing anything. We just moved to land that had plenty of room. And I think we bought some tomatoes or peppers and bits and pieces to eat. And I said, oh, I'm going to save the seeds and grow those. I'm not a gardener. I just absorb information and try things out and see what works for me and pass on what I learned. Plus, I'm quite good at bugs. Obviously, frugal and organic and eco. So anything along those lines. And obviously, I live totally off grid. So I've kind of become that, but that's not what is my channel is anything to do with my life in rural Cyprus. It just so happens there's that. Is your name Jan? I never remember channels' names. If you're talking to me, I'm Dawn, as in the morning. Think of my channel, New Beginning. A new beginning is the morning, the dawn. So that's me. I have to send for you, Matt, to try to stop by in a while. It's lovely to see you. Thank you so much for coming. And I have to say it, if any of you want a really nice intro, go and look at Twinbrook Acres. There's just something so lovely about their intro. When they have the little picture and the music, it just goes so well. I had to say that. Dawn, good connection. Yeah, I bet you always remember now, but thank you for asking, because there's so many people that like wouldn't ask if they didn't know. I do say at the beginning of, I try to say at the beginning of my lives now, because I hate that when I go on the channel and you watch and you get absorbed into it. You're like, but who are they? And I have got some intros. I keep changing my intros, but I've got several sitting there, and every now and then I make a new intro just so that people have always seen it, don't see the same old intro. And every now and then there is one where I do say, hi, my name's Dawn, blah, blah, blah. And my welcome video, you know, when you first go on YouTube, a channel, it brings up a welcome video. I've got it on there. The photo in my intro is my property, the late 1800s, early 1900s. Oh, you heard me say that. That's cool. You have the same old intro. I did for a long time. And when I first started, if you go back to my first videos, I had an outro. And the other day, I was like, oh, my outro. And I used it for an intro. So, and what that is, it's just literally photos put together of creatures and things in Cyprus. Maybe a couple of things I grow. I think there's a couple of my cats' pictures in it. Chameleons and maybe a hedgehog. I can't remember all the animals, but it's just pictures with my theme tune. I've always kept my theme tune, though sometimes I sort of run music through the video, so I won't use my theme tune then. It took me ages to find my theme tune. I wanted something upbeat, but I don't like songs in people's videos. I want music, but not songs. A lot of people are using songs. So I'm not keen on a song. I have an outro too. Mine was quite long, but I thought when I started YouTube, I thought that'd be quite nice. You kind of see a bit more about Cyprus, as in what's here, or a bit more of my garden, because I didn't have many videos out. So I thought it shows you a little bit more. Every now and then I do an intro, my house, so you can sort of see more the location of my house. See you then. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much. Do go and check out each other's channels. If you have got channels you see in the chat that you don't know, everyone in my community's got fabulous channels. So that was that. Oh, and I have put links in the description below this video if you are interested in Christmas videos, something a bit different. I've linked two that I've used before, I've made before on this channel. One is if you're interested in what a Cyprus Christmas is, what are the traditions and what happens on the days of Christmas. I've linked that video below. And I've also linked, if you want a Christmas video but you don't want that, I read my pop-up book that my dad bought me when I was about, I'm going to say 5 years old, I'm not sure. And it's a pop-up book, so you'll see that. And I read it. It's The Night Before Christmas, and I read the whole story with this pop-up book's from the early 1960s, because I was born in 1964. So it's from the early 1960s. It's one of the few books I've kept from when I was little. I have a couple, but that one is probably my oldest book, and it's great to see all the pop-up bits working. So if you're interested in that, look in the links below, and I've put the link to that one up. Stick with music in the YouTube studio and not get strikes. I use a channel called Ben's Sound. Ben's Sound is very good, and if there are any issues pop up, they just deal with it, because there shouldn't be, and they just deal with it. They're really brilliant. It's quite a nice it's all free. I don't do anything you have to pay for, and they've got quite a good variety of music. Every now and then I jump back to other ones. There are loads of channels up there where you can use music and not pay, so I just check that is okay, and I use those. I've been going back and using a little bit of that lately, and yeah, I've never had a strike. So you're just careful what you use and if it's okay. And then you always look at the actual, not the channel who produces it, but like all the little like URL information. And if there's ever an issue, look at that and then check that's not anywhere elsewhere. But no, it's okay. Curious about what books are allowed to be read without strikes. Well, this is interesting because I'm just looking with whose channel it is. Country Mama's Musings. Just had to check because there's 3 or 4 channels, quite similar names. So that's Country Mama Musings. I'm listening to while I'm doing other things in my room, because I can only use a laptop for YouTube. So while I'm doing sorting out and whatever, and I can't watch the thing, I'm listening to her. She's reading Anne of Green Gables, because I know of it. My big sister used to read it, but I don't actually know the story. So I've been putting that on. Now, to me, if there was any book with a situation, you would think it would be one of those sort of books. So maybe ask her, maybe she knows, maybe there's a way of telling. I'm not sure there is a problem reading a book. I don't really know, because there's a lot of free books out there anyway. There must be a list somewhere, but I can't really help you with that. I don't know. I've got Kindle and I only get free books on Kindle. So if they're free that way, I don't know if they give that over, or I don't know. I really don't know. That's a very good question. But as I say, she's reading Anne of Green Gables. I'm only on her part 2 at the minute, because I used to have trouble listening to audiobooks, but with her I can listen to that, so I'm really pleased. But I try not to do too much at once, so I'll give it like a few days and then do the next one. I won't be continually doing that, but I was very, very pleased about that. And apart from books, Dawn likes jigsaw puzzles, and my friend came round the other day and she said, oh, it's winter. She's only loans these to me, but she said, winter's coming up, Dawn. So is that upside down? Oh, I think it's a round puzzle, so I think it goes all directions. Yes, look, it's all directions. Oh, that's going to be hard then, because you won't know which way up the birds are. Oh, yes, look. There isn't a top or a bottom. Oh, I've just noticed that. Oh, that's going to be quite hard. So she said, yeah, winter's coming up, Dawn. So then Mike says, oh, he's not bothered with puzzles, but he likes them. Here come. You know how people come. I'll do the edge first, and I make a rule to myself. I don't have to find every single edge piece, but I can't start on anything else till I've found the 4 corners. That's what I do, because sometimes you just can't find those last few side bits. So I can start on finding colours or however you want to do it, but I have to have at least found the 4 corners and a good attempt at the sides. So Mike will then come if I've started looking for, say, colour parts, or let's say maybe this one I'm going to look for the blue and get all the blue bits. That's probably a good way to start this puzzle, actually, look, because you haven't got an edge. So maybe I'll find the blue. Yeah, I wonder what this looks like then, the edge. Oh, I might film this for you so you can see. And here come then, and here do the edge. Ha, Mike. Ha. Here do the edge. And then also, I don't like puzzles where there's lots of sky or lots of green, you know, where you get like trees and forests, or dark. I find that quite hard to see anyway. So he'll come and do those bits. But he has a method where he likes to, I suppose, be an engineer mind, he likes to lay out the same shape pieces. And that's how he does it. He does it methodically, I suppose. And yeah, he likes to lay out the bits and same size, shape, you know. But yeah, I wonder what the edge is going to be like. Look, Em, how are you going to do the edges of this one? It's round and there's no top or bottom.
I'll leave that to you.
It's right all the ways up.
Good.
There's that one.
You'll be there a while.
I'll be there a while. And then she gave me, it's the same. No, it's another round one. So there's no bottom, no top, no sides. I'm definitely going to have to film this for you so you can all see how it goes. So she said that one. I quite like that one. I think that'd be easier than the bird one, I think. I think the birds will look quite similar. Ooh, that's a funny thing. What's that? Some wild cat. It's not a lynx, is it? Don't know what that animal is. Maybe it says about them on the back. Oh, yeah, it says all about the mammals. Wildcat. It just says that's wildcat. There's a mole, wildcat, pipistrelle bat, rabbit and young, harvest mouse, grey squirrel, stoat, red squirrel, fallow deer, otter, grey seal, blue hare, red fox and badger. So I suppose the other one probably said all the birds. Let's see. This one must say all the birds. Game birds. We have a lot of game birds wild round here. Pheasant, partridge. What they got here? Pheasant, snipe, partridge, red-legged partridge, quail. We have quails here. Red grouse. Something I can't read there. Ptarmigan, P-T-A-R-M-I-G-A-N. It's very hard for me to read with these glasses. And it says found only in mountainous areas, e.g. Swiss Alps, Pyrenees, in the British Isles, confined to something, mountainous areas of Scotland over 2,000 feet. Changes to white only in winter. Woodcock and black grouse. So that's the bird one. Nonna says, I've been thinking of putting a puzzle out so everyone can work on it up in my what used to be my daycare. We enjoy puzzles. Yeah, it's good. It's somewhere to go. On my other channel, Tranquility Through Life's Natural Beauty, fairly recently, but I think you'll have to go back a few, I do a puzzle that is only squares. It's like square tiles. They don't fit together. You just place them side by side. and I forget what the grid is, so many by so many. That's your only clue. And they're ants and ladybirds, or ladybugs, some of you say. Ants, ladybugs, wasp. And there was another beetle, black beetle or something. And they walk in lines round the puzzle. And there's no clue as to where they go. And they might circle round and go off. And the only other clue is they all go on one time and off one time. And it's actually quite hard. And I did that. I show some of it and then I time lapse it and then show you it slow again towards the end. So if you're interested in a fun puzzle. Then she also gave me, this is a normal one. This is 500 pieces. This is very pretty. Oh, how many pieces are those other ones? 500. 500. But it's diameter, obviously. So there's this one. This is very pretty. Obviously in France. I like that. I think the flowers might be hard. Or maybe it depends the brightness of this. That could be quite hard. Yeah, I like that one. I like pictures with things going on. I've got puzzles where I like ones that are a bit different. There's one where it's spot the difference, and there's one or two I've got, my sister got me, where you see a picture, but the puzzle is what are they looking at? So, or what is it from behind them? It's someone behind them, what they're looking at. So it's the back of the people you see in the forefront. My niece had a video of a puzzle that she couldn't put together, so she gave it to us. We put it together for her, and then she glued it and used it as a picture on her wall. That's lovely. What was that a picture of? Do you remember? And she also gave me, does she think it's going to be a long winter? No video in the last comment. No video in the last comment. No video in the last comment. What does that mean? Oh, no video in the last comment. This one she'd already previously given me, but I haven't started it yet. I think that is going to be very hard. Very hard. Look at that. No, that's hard. I think that's going to be very hard. So, yeah, she obviously thinks it's going to be a long winter for us. I might actually start one of those. I think I should do a round one, don't you? Do a round one. And as I say, I'll try and remember video it, because I'm quite intrigued what the outer shapes are. Are they obvious, or is the whole puzzle like odd shapes? She's given me one before where the whole puzzle's odd shapes. Oh, and she gave me one before as well. It was a, what's his name? Poirot, the detective. Poirot? What? Poirot. Yeah, him. Yeah, him. And yes, you had to put it together to get the clues of, you read a story, but the clues he could see and solve the crime were in the puzzle. That one was interesting. Oh, a Disney donkey. Oh, was that the donkey from Shrek? I like Shrek. A donkey from Shrek. He's pretty cool. So, yes. So I'll be doing puzzles. In my week off, I'll be doing puzzles. What else? Oh, if you don't know, we've got a volunteer here at the moment. That was a long saga, which the last live actually tells you the whole funny story of him arriving. He just knocked on the door. That was very odd shapes, what we like. Yeah, it's different. Now that is a real puzzle. Something a bit different. yeah, so he's still here, but I will do a video of what he's done and show you what he's done. I did some befores, I did some afters. Unfortunately, I lost a whole bulk of footage of one of the things he did, and I hadn't got that much footage because he's a little bit shy with the camera. And just like, right, well, I'll just do a big bit on this, and then I'll just do little bits elsewhere, and it's that big bit I've lost, so a little bit annoyed about that. It's because I've got this new phone, and to me, when it's a big red button, that's record. No, that's I'm not recording. And then you have to press it, and then it's recording. And it's funny enough, I put a short up about a similar story when I first started YouTube, about how I did all this filming when I first started YouTube, carried the tripod round, showed water in the garden or something, carried it round to give you some idea of like my land when I was first here, and went to sort it all out on the computer. And I had lots of footage of my feet carrying the tripod around, nothing of watering or gardening or whatever it was, but loads of walking around the land and setting the tripod up and going, yeah, that's okay. And then I'll turn it off, which I thought was record. And then next footage, it's tripod moving around the garden. Had a lot of Disney characters on it. Oh, lots of different ones. That's cool. Yeah, I like puzzles where they're things rather than scenery a bit more, as you can probably tell from me. Like, yes, I like a picture and I like things happening in it. My sister bought me one a couple of years ago, and it's like shops. I'll have to film them all. I'll film them all. It'll be on my other channel though, because that's more crafts and art and extra bits and pieces. So I'll put them all on my other channel. As I say, I've got this bug one on there. So maybe I should do a folder of puzzles. And it was all like a department store, but all lots of things going on in it. And that's why I like when you've made the puzzle up, you have a good look at it and go, oh, there's this, oh, look at that, and spot things in it. So oh, that was one puzzle I've got. You make it up, you've got the picture of the puzzle, you make it up, but there's things different in the picture to what there is in the puzzle. So someone might be wearing a green coat in the picture, but a yellow coat in the puzzle. So that's a little bit tricky. Or something's missing or something's there that isn't in the picture. So that's quite a fun one. So yeah, I'd say they're the sort of puzzles I like more so, something with a bit of a twist, let's say. But definitely not so much sky, green, earth, where you get down, and dark, not dark browns, greens, and lots of sky. Not so much for me. What's the name of your other channel? I'll type it in for you. Tranquility Through Life's Natural Beauty. Oh, that's not spelt right, is it, Dawn? There we go. Tranquility Through Life's Natural Beauty. As I say, that's more, I started that channel off because I'm rubbish at crafts, but I enjoy crafts. There's some painting ones and just things I make and do. It's not all crafts. I've now actually called it a channel, a variety channel with something for everyone. So there might be my cats in it. There's any old footage that doesn't relate to my life in Cyprus. So anything I want to preserve and keep. So you get some of my back life is in there. Because we've got stuff on video, and Mike changed it to like disc, like CD type disc. And obviously that's becoming a bit obsolete. So then he's changed that onto computer, But as you know, you can't store all this stuff. So I'm actually putting that footage, slowly I'm working through it and putting anything that I want to preserve that you might enjoy on the other channel. What else is there? There's my long haul holidays are on there. Let me read my playlist. Oh, my collections, old medicine bottles, like from Victorian and Edwardian days, my collection of those. That's a whole series. I've just put a video, is going up next on Christmas crackers, how to make them. As I say, lots of crafts on there. Oh, little tips of YouTube, little easy tips for like people who aren't so computer savvy. So the things you want to know, but all these help of YouTube channels go to extreme. They're not things you need to know. Crafts, flowers and plants. It's got a play. I'm just reading the playlist now to give an idea. Music and visuals for relaxation. So that might be wildflowers or sunsets or rainbows. They're all things I've taken pictures of, photographs, and I put them together and put nice relaxing music. Places to visit. Now these are places I've visited before I came to Cyprus. If you want Cyprus places to visit, that's on this channel. And that's a playlist out and about or something like that. But if it's places not in Cyprus, then they're on the other channel. Weather series, so as I say, rainbows and things like that. There is a little bit of growing vegetables and bits and pieces, but the majority of that's on this channel. My Yorkshire Terrier dogs that I had in England, I'm doing a whole series. There's a whole playlist on them from when I had Pip and Paws, my first two, from tiny puppies. And then I've got footage all the way through their lives till they had their own puppies. So that's a series. Everything about herbs, teas and other drinks, ways of using natural organic products for cleaning, tips for around the home. Put it over here, though I'm not looking away. A little bit of van life, as in, I think in America you call them trailers, but caravans. So caravans, I've had 2 caravans. Well, the first one's very vintage, so you'll like that. Cat diaries. Some of cat diaries is on this channel, some's on that channel, so it's just funny videos like my cats are telling you stories. Any old photographs and film, like I've said, I've got so much footage I want to save, so there's that. I just looked and I'm following need to watch a video. What is your icon? Shows flowers. Yes, it's like, I think it's sort of a whitey background. Yes, it looks like flowers in a circle for sure. Oh, I'm doing a new series, Who Are You? Now, because I did psychology, these are fun things. They're not like dead serious or too in-depth. And they're just little games and things to do that you find out a bit more about yourself. It might be look at the shape of your face and it says things, or it might be look at body language, how you sit, or all sorts of things. There's ones coming up where you look at a picture and what you think the picture is, these kind of things. So they're fun. It's a whole series called Who Are You? What else? Oh, Letters from a Gingerbread Man. I love this series. This is ongoing. It's got its own playlist. And I made a little, out of fabric, a gingerbread man. He's quite tall. I might show him one day. He's about this tall. And I call him Ninja Ginger. And it's his story. And it's progressed and it's going way out there now. and it started off about his life. It does continue. You can jump in anywhere, but it's best if you start the beginning because you follow his life and funny things that happened to him. And he found a girlfriend. Before the girlfriend, he had a dog. He's got a dog called Cookie, obviously. You posted 5 days ago about Gingerbread Man. This is what I'm talking about, the Gingerbread Man series. They pop up all the time. There's a Christmas one coming up next. So he's following his life. So he got a dog called Cookie. Then he met a girl called Fondant, obviously. There's all about where they live and how they had to find a new home. I won't spoil it. You can see all about they've moved home a couple of times now for reasons you'll find out. He's now got married to Fondant, so there's their wedding. Their wedding and their honeymoon and just things that happen in their life. I won't go further on, but it progresses. They've just had a visitor to their house. You'll love the visitor. That's the one I think Nonna's just seen. I think it was that one. It's a visit from Di. Visit from Di, not saying anymore, but there's loads more characters coming into it because I've made quite a few ahead, so I'm quite ahead in the story. There's a lot more characters coming in, but as I say, you can jump in, but it's best to go all the way through it and see the progression. So if you've got nothing to do over Christmas, it's quite a fun series for sure, and you'll get my humour. It gets better and better, I must say. There's some fantastic ones coming up. So yeah, Life of a Gingerbread Man or Letters from a Gingerbread Man. I've also done my Nan's autobiography. She hand wrote it and just little snippets about her life. And I've got the copy of it. It's hard to read some of her writing, being a copy as well. But I thought rather it just sitting there and me enjoying it, it's very interesting. She was born in 1918, so that gives you an idea of the era of her stories. And I thought I'd share it. So that has got its own playlist. I think it's just called something about autobiography of my nan or something like that. And very interesting story. And there's some happy bits, some sad bits, some funny bits, all sorts in there. I'm only reading very short bits each episode, so it's not like a long thing. I thought it was something you can just jump into here a little bit and then jump back again. They're probably about 3 minutes long, nothing very long. So I've just found a place where you can kind of stop after a couple of paragraphs or whatever. I'm reading it, but you see pictures of my nan while I'm reading it. So it's definitely a listening one. You don't have to watch it. So if you're cleaning or cooking or something, you can put it on and just listen to it. And then I've got some fun videos as well. Gave you some of the background. Glad you gave some of the background. Yes. There's some fun ones. And if you want a real laugh, do check out, there's hands dancing, like my hands dancing, and also Gerald the Talking Gorilla. If you want to see me in many guises, do look at that one. That's quite fun. Your dad was born in 1913 and your mum 1920. Oh, we're similar age, do you think? Hey, how are you, Jimmy? How are you doing? How are you doing? I did go on your channel the other day to see if you're back yet, and I see you're not back yet. I hope you're doing better, my friend. I really do. I did watch your Zeb's store. I forgot what it's called now, but the Zeb's store. I did watch that again. So are we the same sort of age, do you think, then? If you're... Oh, no, sorry, your dad was born 1913. Yeah, so your parents were my grandparents' age then. Yeah, because she was born 1918. I'm not sure how much older my granddad was than her. I think he was quite a bit older. So yeah, definitely your parents, definitely around my grandparents' age then. But I thought that would be nice to do her, read it out rather than it just sit there. And I've got 2 things from her when she died, and they come into the story, so that's rather nice as well. So that's definitely something there. You're the 4th child, you're older. 1964 for you. Yeah, 1964 for me. Twins! Twins! Twinnies! That's why we get on so well, Jimmy, isn't it? Why we get on so well. 1964. It's a good year. That I loved growing up in the 70s. You know me, I think it's a good year. The Beatles came to America that year. Cool. My big sister was born 1962, and apparently when she was 3, she was absolutely crazy on the Beatles. And my mum and dad took her to the cinema to watch Yellow Submarine, thinking there's no way. And apparently she just sat and watched it at the age of 3 and fell asleep at the end. But I'm not sure which one she was into, if there was one particularly at 3, but must have been something about their music that caught her. I mean, being 3 was amazing. My dad was 8 years older than my mum. Mike's quite a bit older than me. 1952 for me. What's Mike? Mike's 1956. I think he's 1956 is Mike. Mike's 1956, definitely. Yeah, so that's all very interesting. Definitely all very interesting. I think we're all of that generation then, or generations of this consumer Christmas is a bit OTT. So my brother Joe graduated high school in 1962. And also, you say that, Nonna Grace, I think different countries were very different in different years as well. Just a whole persona of different countries, because there was things that you had in America that didn't come to England for many years later. Graduated in 1982. I can't do that. I can't go certain years I did this and certain years I did that. I can't do that. I've got no clue. You go, well, what year did you have your first job? I can't. I was like, well, I don't know. I don't know if you people can remember things like this. I can't have enough. I know where I was born. You'll hear me sometimes. One of you ask me a question, what year or how long have you been there? Like, oh, I don't know. I don't know these things. I just don't really know these things at all. I don't know. And some people can just rattle off all these ages and years, and I can't do it. I had newspaper in 1977. How do you know this? How do you know this? It's like now, I know I was born 1964, but if you say, how old are you? I have to count. I have to count. I just don't know. I have to count, even though I've only just had my birthday. Mike did tell me how old I was. I was like, no. I'm not messing about. So, no, no way. It's like, yes, darling, work it out. Look out. He's like, no. No way. No way. First job. Yeah, first paid job. What was my first proper paid job? It's difficult because I used to get paid for things. I mean, to stop me going out with my friends during school holidays, my mum got my dad to take me to his work in the school holidays. And he used to then give me money, like pocket money. I was only 11. So he gave me pocket money because we didn't get pocket money. So he gave me like pocket money for it. And that was for us to spend on our holiday. So if we wanted anything on holiday, there's your money. So you couldn't go, I want this or can have this. I mean, they bought us ice creams and things like that. Don't get me wrong, but that was your spending money for holiday. So I guess in that respect, that was my first paid job, if you like. Not a firefighter. 1983. Nonna Gray says, my first job was September the 30th. How do you even know that? September the 30th, 1971, practical nurse. I did like work experience when you're in senior school or high school in England. I don't know if they still do it now, but you had a couple of weeks as you were getting towards the end of school, if you like, where you had to go and work somewhere. And being an all-girls school, they didn't give you that much choice. It was basically bank, school, I think it was a school or nursery school, something like that, nursery school, or some sort of officey job. I didn't want anything like that. I'd done that in my dad's work. I knew I hated every minute of my dad's work, but I kind of guessed that told me I didn't want to work in any form of office, but I already knew that anyway. So one of these work experience things I did, I went to work in a hospital and I was interested in sign language. So I learnt sign language there because they had a girl that had, you know, the tube thing in the throat so they can't speak. And she was deaf as well. So they were teaching her sign language. So I was working with them, learning, so the teacher could go off and I could carry on practicing with her. So I learnt sign language through that. And I also learnt there how to, if someone's got cystic fibrosis, how to do the patting thing on the back and all that. And I was doing it on Mike the other night. He hasn't got cystic fibrosis, but he's got like chest issues. And I was doing it and he's, so he was quite impressed with that. So that was my introduction to nursey type things. I was interested in becoming a nurse at one point and I passed all the interviews and everything. So much so I got to the point where we were going to be working as nurses and we had the sort of week before and you have like a tour of it and you see all the accommodation and walk around all the wards. You just sort of have a, what do you call it, day, like induction type day kind of thing. We walked around and everything, and then they measured you for your uniform, and I got all measured for the uniform. And one of the ladies, I don't know who she was, like who was doing interviews and whatever, and she called me and she said, oh, if you can just come in. I thought you had to sign some paperwork or something. And I went in and she said, I'm very sorry to tell you we can't accept you. Oh, but I've been measured for the uniform and everything. And I was like, what? And she said, oh, she said, some of your medicals come back. She said, and she said, no, we can't accept you. And I never got to the bottom of that. Never got to the bottom of that. So interesting. So I just went home and my mum was quite pleased. She didn't want me to do it. And also I would have given up. I was at stage school at that point still and performing professionally. And that was the thing. I would have had to have given some of that up because that involves weekends and that. And obviously nursing, you couldn't do it. But I thought I had to have a career as in a more normal guaranteed career. So that was my thoughts on that. So that was the end of my nursing. I've always loved people, so my jobs were always people. Me too. I took beginner sign language. Oh, cool. But you've done ASL. I did BSL, but never really got to use it. This astute tourist says, I have admired people that can sign or speak other languages. I think it is an absolute must it should be taught from the beginning of schooling. It should be on curriculum, along with first aid further on. There should be like a category in learning that is something like that. So at the beginning you can start, it's like a language. To me, it is another language. So that should be from day one of school, very simply taught, and it just becomes natural. You should do languages from day one. And as you get older, I think first aid should be a must. And then when you get much higher up, maybe high school, there should be compulsory lessons on that, compulsory things about life skills, so mortgages and how to do these kind of things as well, plus some form of like life maintenance, as in being able to do basic. I think you can do that in America. You can take certain skills and those kind of things, trades, but they should be compulsory. Plumbing, just basic household management and all that. I think that should be a must. In England, they did start saying they do Makaton. I don't know if you're aware what Makaton is. It's kind of a fake sign language, and it's not real. It's like making signs, but they're not sign language. So like sign language, but they're not real. So unless you've done actual Makaton, you wouldn't be able to follow it. What's the point of that when they could be teaching proper sign language? I've never understood that. It's really, I've got a book on Makaton, and it's like, it's pointless. Really is. Really is. I've only learned the naughty words in Spanish. Yes, I can imagine. There aren't rude words in Greek, if you think about it, because when Greek language exists from the beginning of time, there wasn't such words. Yes, you can say things that can be conceived or contrived as being rude, but if you think about it, if everyone goes, oh, I know the Greek word for this and that and the other, it doesn't exist if you think about it. Nonna Gray says, my daughter speaks Spanish. I really wish I could learn it, but I've never been able. I would have liked to have learnt the piano properly. I can play around on the keyboard, but I wouldn't like to say I can play. I can play tunes. I can play the can-can. I can play the can-can if I can remember it now. Probably can't now. That's something. But we can't do everything, can we? I should learn Greek, consider I'm 50% Greek. Yes, obviously. You know, on this channel, there is a playlist of teaching you Greek. Do you not know that, Mr. Jimmy? There is I haven't filmed any of it for ages, but there's quite a few sitting there, and I teach it very simply, but it's proper grammar, so you'll learn it properly. And the way I teach it, if you learn the few concepts I teach, as long as you learn new words, you can say anything, basically. You just got to learn the concepts. So, yeah, do look at that. Do look at that. I expect a comment under one to say you've started, and start the beginning. Start the beginning. But I try and teach it simply and with colours. Colours are a great way to learn. Different colours for different things. I need to move along. You've been here ages. I think you've been here from the beginning. So it's been really lovely to see you. Absolutely lovely. I will come visit. I will come visit. Thank you so much. You've helped me through a difficult day. So thank you for that. Appreciated. Yes, I think I will probably be going soon. How long have I been up? Hour and 20. I don't like to keep them too long, because when I see someone's chat after the event, unless you're doing something at the same time, you can listen to it. But I like to read the chat as well. To get back to work. Have a great day. Thank you for coming. Very nice to see you. Yes, I'll be finishing, because as I say, I don't like to keep them too long, because then I feel people will play them back a little bit more. So thanks everyone for all the thumbs up. Do visit all the people in my chat. They're all great channels, every one of them. I've got an amazing community. And those that aren't in the chat, do comment below if you watch this back later, and then everyone can come and check out your channels too. So thanks for being there, guys. And I will be posting again on Wednesday, and then I'll be back here with a live on Wednesday as well. So until then, as always, Meraki.